While we were fixing Lonnie's motor, I found the belt deflection was way off and it couldn't be adjusted in with the clutches. Follow along and I'll show you how I fixed it. Alright, so I'll show you what we're looking at on the belt centers here. So I'm going to line this up, the center of the bolt on the number 2, which should mean the 14 would line up on the center of the secondary bolt. But you can see it's 14 1/4 there. So I got to figure out how to move this engine a 1/4 inch back. I think what I'm going to do is take the motor mounts loose and try to do some shimming under these front mounts. At least that's where I'm going to start. So I'll bring you back when I get that figured out. Alright, things are getting drastic already. You can see I got a piece of 1/4 inch aluminum under there and some screwdrivers and stuff jammed in there to simulate shimming. All that got me an 1/8 inch closer. The alignment tool's on there just to verify we're staying parallel, and we are. So I don't know. That didn't move it as far as I wanted to. So as far as I can tell, I'm going to have to get pretty drastic. I'm going to pull the motor out and make this bend a little tighter. And I need to make it a little tighter anyways to shim because I got the bolts cocked all over the place. So I guess I'm going to pull the motor out, get that plate off, give that a little more bend, and try again. All right, I made a little gauge here so I can tell how much I changed the angle on Lonnie's motor plate. So I just kind of cut it out of some scrap aluminum I had around, and close enough. Fits each end. I got them marked E and I. And the angles are actually pretty close at each end, but not quite. So anyways, I'm going to give this intake side a bit more of a bend, which ought to help pull the whole motor towards the rear of the machine. Alright, it's just a tiny bit off a square. We got her back on square. And we're going to give it just a little bit of a bend. Alright, before we go anywhere, here's our handy gauge. What does it look like? Yes, indeed, we moved it. Sorry, I'm probably blocking that for you on the camera, but you can see the gap at the bottom there. So we moved it. So it's trial and error here. I don't have any exact amount. I'm going to put it back in the sled, and we're going to see how far that moved the clutch centers. All right, I got the motor back in after the little bending op. And I'm trying to take a measurement again. As you can see, I got the clutches out. And to my eye, that looks like it's dead on 12 inches. Remember, I'm starting at the 2 over here. That looks really good. So I think I'm going to put the clutches back on, double check the alignment, and see how much drag we have on the belt. All right, I got her all lined up, and deflection looks pretty good. Had to add one shim to the secondary to really get the deflection to where I wanted it to be. And, you know, the belt's just flush, maybe just a hair proud of the top. But, yeah, I think we can live with this. This is way better than how the setup was before. All right, so that was, pretty extreme for belt deflection there to have to bend the motor plate. But somehow I think that motor plate got out of shape and just needed to be put back in. And this kind of thing happens. If you remember one of Todd Klein's recent projects, he had a whole slew of problems with motor plates on his Ultimate Red, White, and Blue Ultra there. You find this stuff when you're working on old sleds, and I don't know, you just fix it, just like everything else. So I want to say huge thanks to the patrons. You guys really keep the channel going. Really appreciate your support. I want to say thanks to everybody else that's sent in stuff to the P.O. box or sent a generous PayPal donation. Really appreciate you guys. And everybody else, please hit subscribe. Really helps the channel. And we'll see you on the trails.